Previous and she's a Northwestern, so she felt that this is a platform that she's very highly welcome to. And she told me that she didn't know her way, but she would want to come and ask her friend to drive her children. And I'm happy to inform us that everybody Yeah. Yeah. So this is exactly our foundation. So our work at FutureMap Foundation is about creating a space where people who are often far from power, capital, and platform can still share information that affects their life. We connect policy, practical, local reality, and something, and live experiences on invoices, impact, and action. And we have put it at the back of our mind that Northern Nigeria is not just one case of many realities. We have urban realities, rural, formal, and informal realities, stable and fragile systems. And we have to understand that we can create a generic solution for all of these different realities. Introducing our
had its IT vision to but I used my allowance, NYC stipend allowance, to pay for that. I paid for the domain name and hosting. For me, it was just to experiment to see how to build a live website, which I did. So, which I did successfully. And for me, was a big accomplishment from coming to schools where we just read things, we don't practicalize things, to a situation where I have a website live running. I put my contact details. Within 5 to 6 months, I was contacted by a company from Lagos that they want me to build a website for them. So at that time, they paid me 1.5 million in 2003 to build website for them. And that what changed my life and even my thinking about how to start career. Or maybe the farthest I could go, Kaduna. I never dreamed to be in Abuja or somewhere. So, but that opens a lot of things for me. And after my NYC, I decided to stay back in Abuja because I had money that time. I can be on my own and I can do things. So when we started that time in Abuja, we were very few building systems. So when I started my career, like that time, I was not thinking to work for anybody because I was already a millionaire before finishing my NYC. So I was exploring how to start my business. But still what is holding us back in North is lack of the soft skills. Sometimes we have the hard skills. We know the science, we know the technology, but we don't have the soft skill to start and grow and scale business. So, and still that's is a struggle for us to today. We don't have that. And the only way you can have that is through this kind of engagement. Because if you look at innovation, it's not evenly distributed in the world. It is highly concentrated in some clusters around the world. So, but what is so special about those clusters is the ecosystem, the innovation infrastructure in place. And you won't understand what kind of infrastructure you need without engaging, without building the ecosystem. So I look at this platform as something that will change the northern narrative about innovation and tech ecosystem. Because when we started engaging, today we have people from different backgrounds. We have innovators, we have builders, we have dreamers, we have executors, we have government policy makers, and so on. So this will really help us create that ecosystem to drive changes in North. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So just to put it into perspective, the equivalence of 1.3 million naira today is 17 million naira. So the DG was actually a multi-millionaire than not even a millionaire. So to summarize all of these things, we could see the lack of soft skill and the knowledge action gap, or the issue of practicalizing what has been learned, is one of the stubborn problems that we are still having as of today. And we could also see some of the things that worked for the DG personally was the fact that he was consistent and pioneering informatics in Jigawa, were some of the things that helped with some of the things that we've been trying to build here. So, sir, the next question is, out of all of this experience that you've mentioned, what do you think is a very important knowledge for the Northern innovation ecosystem? Something that you think is a take home from your experience working with system and your experience also building your soft skill and all of the other skills in between?
So it's two things. We need to identify our innovation capacity and entrepreneurial capacity. If we identify those, we need to know the baseline and we need to have a strategy on where we want to go, then craft our strategy to move us from where we are to where we want to be. Then when we talk about innovation capacity, is the ability to imagine and develop new idea to the world from inception to impact. While the entrepreneurial capacity is the ability to start, grow, and scale new enterprise to the world from inception to maturity. And to achieve this, we need to look at 5 pillars. Firstly, the human capital. When we talk about innovation, humans, people are the engine room of that innovation. So we need to build that human capital, and we need to be intentional about it. When I was growing up, most of my classmates, when we were in secondary school, we all wanted to get 5 credits and join NDA because that time military was ruling. And today, if you ask our younger ones, they want to be politicians. They don't want to go and read these science programs, courses. They want to go to, they are all looking for shortcuts to be rich. So when we talk about human capital, we need to look at the mindset and the skill set. We need to reorient our people to know what is good for us. And also, we need to build the skill set we need to succeed wherever we find ourselves. But today, our younger ones, they don't think of that. They just think of how to be honorable member, how to be commissioner, how to be minister, this and that. Then we also need to have elite consensus. That's what we are also lacking in the northern Nigeria. For example, if subsequent governments in Jigawa built from what Simon Traki started, we wouldn't be talking about this today. But because we don't have that elite consensus, everybody wants to come, start something, or doesn't understand what this guy is doing. I just want to come and build something so that the legacy will come to me. So we need to change that. And the only way we can change that is if we have strong ecosystem like this. Because the ecosystem is beyond politicians. Government is just one part in the ecosystem. Like in the innovation ecosystem, we need 5 critical stakeholders. We need the academia, because they are the ones that produce the human capital. We need corporate organizations. They are the ones that absorb the human capitals as well as buy innovative solutions we build. Then we need entrepreneurs, anybody that can start and grow business, whether you are a student, dropout, whatever it is. And we need risk capital, people that can put money to fund innovation. Then we need government. So government is just one out of the 5 stakeholders. So if we can have a consensus, I don't think there is any government that will come and change things overnight. But because we don't have strategy, we don't have system in place, that's why anybody who finds himself as the leader can decide what to do without anybody challenging him. So we need to build that. Then the funding. Today, most of, or more than 70 to 80% of funding coming to Nigeria or Africa is coming from outside the continent. But in Nigeria, we have rich people. But the problem there is a disconnection between them and the innovators because they don't understand the value of innovation. So the innovators also, they need to understand how to communicate with people in government, people with money and so on, so that they can fund innovation as well as government can create the enabling environment. Then we also need to look at the infrastructure because without the innovation infrastructure, it will be difficult for us to innovate. And when we talk about infrastructure, we look at it from three buckets. We have the physical infrastructure, which includes places like this where innovators can meet and discuss. We need physical infrastructure in terms of connectivity, in terms of access to other technology you need to innovate. Then we also need to look at the cultural infrastructure. Culture in terms of the way we behave, which includes even policies, strategies, and so on. Then we also need to look at the economic infrastructure because as an innovator, innovation, or maybe I can say invention, because there is a difference between innovation and invention, but sometimes we use them interchangeably. Because invention is a cost center. You put money to invent something new. But innovation is the ability to take that idea to impact. That means innovation will help you to make money. But before you start making money also, you need to sink money. So we need to build that economic infrastructure where if you develop something, government can patronize you. Government can create enabling environment for the private sector to patronize you as well. So that's the only way we can encourage people to invest. Then we also need to look at the demand itself. We need to create the demand because you can create demand by policies. We've seen what happened with the fintech industry. It was not by accident. It was influenced by CBN's policy, the cashless policy. That what gave birth to the fintech ecosystem in Nigeria. Today, if we can have policies in other sectors, it can help to create demand as well.
Yes, sir. So, sir, to quickly come in, I would want to ask how some of the national digital policy disconnect from the local reality. Here in the room, we have people from the academia, we have innovators from various hubs, we have head of government parastatals, and in the last 3-4 hours, we've been discussing about how we can be able to adapt and localize innovation and ensure that what we are adapting and localizing is what actually works for the northern ecosystem. And at this point, I would want to ask how can we be able to know the point where we do get disconnect between national policies and local policies so we can be able to actually build what works for the northern ecosystem.
So Nigeria is a federated system. You can have a policy at the national level, you can have regulations, laws, and so on. But sometimes if you don't domesticate them at the state level, implementation is always a challenge. Because states also legislate. They have policies, they have regulations, and so on. So mostly at the national, what we encourage is to come up with something, to pilot it, and state to domesticate. For example, I think all the northwestern states I think they all have either Ministry of Digital Economy or IT agency. Most of them, they were supported by federal government, especially NIDA. We worked with many of them. For example, Kasina, recently they developed a digital literacy framework, which was like they adopted the national
Yes.
we have. So I know Kano also, they have the IT agency, Casida, they have the strategic roadmap and action plan, and they have many things which they also copy from what we've done at the national level. So, but what we need to do more is to synergize and work as an ecosystem. Because also even within the northern or northwest, we need different and unique need for each state. But sometimes if we cross-pollinate, we'll get a better result.
So, sir, to just scale down the conversation, we've heard the support some of the tech agencies in states have gotten from NIDA, but what does this mean to a tech-member innovation hub, for example? How can they be able to be supported by NIDA in the same capacity that CASIDA and the Kaduna State Information Technology Agency was able to be supported? So, sir, the strategy and the support that the tech innovation agencies have gotten from CASIDA, what does it mean for a 10-member innovation hub, for example? How could they be supported by NIDA?
Worked with the ecosystem to develop the Nigerian Startup Act, which was co-designed and co-created by the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And after that, we created an SPV, OND, which normally work with the tech ecosystem. And we have so many programs we execute around the country, from the talent building to the building the ecosystem. Like one of the flagship program we have is the iHatch, which we executed across 36 states. So we worked with the NSIA to identify a hub in each state, where we recruited a hub manager, we trained them, we upskilled them, and also we work with them. Today they are training, in each state we are training 5 startups. We started last year 5, but this year we are going to increase it. So we trained 5 startups in each state plus FCT. So the idea is, in each state we want you to have an innovation hub you can walk in to incubate your idea. When we started in 2014, like in the entire Northeast, there wasn't any innovation hub, because the Northeast cohort, they had to come to Northwest to do the training. So, but today we've worked with them all to establish that.
Yeah.
Then also we do a lot of interventions across the country. So in many states, when we finish the intervention, we hand them over to the state IT agency so that they can use those learning centers across the state to coordinate with the ecosystem for talent building. And also we build innovation hubs, most of the time inside universities, but sometimes we do it outside university, because we experimented to see which one will work better. Because sometimes when you build it outside, if you don't have a good manager, sustainability is a big challenge.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes when you build it inside university, they close it. They only open it for students. But we've seen in some places where they have grown and they are working with the entire ecosystem in the state to come to the university to do research and use the innovation hubs there.
Thank you very much, sir. Just the support from ONDI, the NSIA, the IHatch program, is this something open for some of the owners of innovation hubs that we have here with us to still access?
Yeah, it's open for everyone and we make it very competitive. Like recently we added Ignite Her because also we want to make sure we increase the number of women founders as well.
Yeah.
In the previous ones, the women participation was very low, and we have a digital gender inclusion strategy, which we are trying to make sure at least in all our initiatives we have 40% women participation.
Yeah. So talking about gender, the conversation that has been happening during the roundtable was centered around the fact that we need to create a lot of vehicles that are going to promote inclusion. So apart from the fact that NIDA is having a policy that could be able to address that, what mindset shift locally has NIDA been investing to ensure that women from this region are getting to understand that this is something that they need to adopt? I think the mindset have to be there first before they were able to assess the policy that have been created for their own benefit.
So under our human capital pillar, we do a lot in terms of building the skill set and the mindset. For example, we have two initiatives we are running. We have the 3MTT, and we have DL for All. Under DL for All, we started by developing the National Digital Literacy Framework, and today we've worked with the Ministry of Education, we've developed curriculum, and it has been approved that digital skills and literacy is going to be a mandatory courses in our formal education. We've done a pilot with some states, and we worked with some tech companies like Cisco, helped us in building the content, where students can take the courses on their own pace. They got a globally recognized certificate, as well as it counts for their own degree program. So under that, we have introduced the soft skill to be part of it, because it's not just about getting the hard skills. You also need to learn the soft skill, and through the soft skill, that's where you can change the mindset for people to embrace technology.
Yes, sir. So to set the conversation into perspective, I would want to give us two examples and then pose a question to you, sir, with regards to that. The first example is from the UNDP program, where they recruited a lot of youth. And at the end of the day, we had a lot of youth that go through a lot of training, but at the end of the day, the skills are not there, so they were not able to be placed to work in a lot of organizations. And then a question posed for a problem identified by Umar Futawa, who is also a hub owner, and he's from Kasina, that after the training and the certification, then what? Because at the end of the day, we have a lot of things that are preventing businesses from scaling up, and as you rightly mentioned, access to market too. So how do we ensure that we are giving people the right training? How do we ensure that we are setting them up for scaling up? And how do we ensure that we are creating environment for them to get the needed skills in this capacity?
So firstly, on the skills, the reason we are integrating tech skills and talents into formal education is to make sure people build it from kindergarten to tertiary institutions. Because mostly if you don't started thinking about what to do with that skill, some of us or some people just see it as an opportunity to get a certificate. That's why they'll go for a training and they don't know what to do after the training. And also, we need to stop looking at tech skills as a vertical skills on its own. But it's a skill that permeates across everything we do. If you are an economist, accountant, a medical doctor, engineer, anything you do today, even media people, you need tech skills to thrive in what you do. So that's the reason we are making it a mandatory skill for everyone, from kindergarten to tertiary institutions.
Thank you very much.
So as you go through it, you know, one thing with tech skills, it make you to start thinking in a progressive way, or it encourage growth mindset. That means it's not just about you learning something, but you start thinking on how to apply it to solve a problem, how to apply it to enhance what you do. So this is our goals. But you know, we can't wait until when it is fully integrated before we start training people. That's why we have some acceleration program, like the 3MTTs, an acceleration program.
Yes.
But by the time you start graduating people who have the latest tech skills, you don't even need anybody to go through any acceleration program. And we believe doing that will change a lot. If you are doing, maybe if you major in agri and you have tech skills, AI skills, and so on, you start thinking on how to apply AI in your farm, how to apply AI to maybe monitor the soil components, and maybe even the crops health and so on. So these are the kind of progressive idea we want people to start building as they go through their formal education.
So this response has perfectly positioned us to ask the next question, which is around the fact that after policy, we are talking about application. But then at the height of it, we need to hear from you, sir, what you think about the Northern region innovation-wise. So, sir, do you think the Northern region is an unsupported risk or a region with high risk? Unsupported risk, it means high potential, but then policy, it hasn't been supported to realize some of those potential. High risk, meaning regardless of the support that we get, we are not going to get it right at the end of the day.
So I think it is beyond policy. Policy is just one side of the coin. But we need to build the innovation infrastructure as well as to steward the ecosystem. Do we have a stewardship for the Northern Innovators ecosystem? I don't think we have. Do we want to have one? I believe yes. Since we've started this engagement, that means we want to reimagine ourselves. So when we reimagine ourselves, we need to look at three things. We need to have the system in place, because the innovation itself is a process, it's a system. It's not something that happened by accident. We need to design it. Then we need to have our strategy. What do we want to achieve as an ecosystem? Then we need to carry the stakeholders along. When we do this, I think the Northern Innovation ecosystem is very promising when it comes to its own potential. Why? Because innovation is about problem solving. We have so many problems in North that need innovative solutions. So now is to challenge the ecosystem to build those solutions and bring all stakeholders to co-design, co-create policies, regulations, as well as to steward the ecosystem itself. Because for me also, policy is beyond just government using armchair theory to come up with policies. To formulate a good policy, we need to bring everyone in this room together. We need to hear from you, because the policy that work in Kano might not serve Jigawa or Katsina. Every ecosystem is unique, and we also have our own comparative advantage. So we need to identify in each state what kind of ecosystem, what kind of policies do we need, and work with the ecosystem to develop those policies.
Thank you, sir. So, what kind of ecosystem do we need, and what kind of policy do we need? At this juncture, I would like to open up the floor to the audience to ask one or two questions. And I think all of the conversation that we've been having from the beginning of the roundtable to the fireside chat is about identifying the kind of policy that we need and the kind of ecosystem that we need to build. And keeping it constructive and sticking to the time, I would like to open the floor to the audience to tell us and hear directly from the DG what kind of ecosystem do you think we should have and what kind of policy we should build. So I would want to have a head count on 10 people that would want to ask questions. We'll give numbers and be passing the mic around. One. Yeah. So we have one. We have one. Yeah, we have two. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number one. Please, 30-second question. Let's get it straight to the point so that the DG can have an avenue to answer.
Thank you very much, DG, for the honor. My question is very straightforward, DG, sir. We've seen how tremendously well the southern ecosystem are doing, and we've seen some of the programs they've been doing and how they've strategically positioned themselves to get the necessary support, not just from NIDA, but from other government agencies and also development partners. What do we need to do as northern ecosystem to be able to drive the kind of support we see this other parts of the country get when we come to institutions like NIDA and their likes? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think the first is to form the ecosystem. Do we have ecosystem in the north?
It has been argued that we do have an ecosystem.
Yeah, because even if we have them in silos. So we need to have an ecosystem. We need to have a place that if I come to Kano, I know if I go to this place, I will meet founders, innovators, I will meet investors, and so on. So when we have an ecosystem, we can have one voice. This is not the first time we are meeting. Several different people have done a lot, but sometimes it ends at whether a summit or workshop they call it, it ends there. So we need to have a follow-through strategy. So what do we intend to do after this? Is it the end or is it the beginning? So you need to have a strategy even for FutureMap Foundation. Because if it's just to meet here and go, I don't think anything can happen. So when we have an ecosystem, I believe anywhere we go, we can get whatever we want. And secondly, we need to tell our story. Because even if you have an ecosystem, if nobody knows you have an ecosystem, nobody will come to you. And nobody will listen to you. So if you look at Lagos, they are very strategic. Even with media, the ecosystem started with media. They have many media companies promoting that ecosystem. So if we have that, I don't think there is anybody who will approach and they reject us.
So just to put it into perspective, so we need an ecosystem with strategy, and we do also need to be telling our stories, and I think that has been extensively discussed at the roundtable. So number two.
Just raise up your hand, number two.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Miriam Shaibaliu, a cybersecurity specialist and also the founder of Cyber Tech, a platform where we train women cybersecurity in northern Nigeria. So my question now is, you talked about the 3MTT program, and I want to tell you that I'm a beneficiary of the 3MTT program. I went through 3MTT, I graduated from 3MTT, and I was fortunate to win a laptop. So the problem is the hub where I was attached to, we have 1,000 people that were attached to that hub. But at the end of the program, we that were able to graduate were not up to 20. So my question now, or like the suggestion that I would want to ask now, you're talking about human capital. And when we talked about human capital, we're talking about people that go through the program and were able to get the right skills. So what are you going to tell the we or the people that are trying to, or they are learning tech skills now, what are you going to tell them to keep going, or what are you going to tell them on why they need to stick to see the end of any program that they start? Thank you so much.
So I think also that one has to do with sharing success stories, because we humans, we all want to associate ourselves with something big, meaningful, and so on. But we want quick wins. When we started 3MTT, more than 70% of fellows who joined, they went there with a mindset that they will get laptops, they will get stipends, and so on. They don't understand we are giving them only skills. So many dropped out because of that. Because also it has to do with mindset. People were thinking, if I just go for training, what next after the training? But what the kind of mindset we want people to have is, if you have skills, that's everything for you. Because human investment is the best investment. Let me give you two examples. I've given you one for my own story. When I built that website. The second example is when I did my CCIE. I was working with Galaxy Backbone then. I was doing networking. And I challenged myself, anything I'm doing, I want to be the best. Then I looked at, how can I be the best in networking? That time I was thinking to go for MSc, PhD, or what can I do? Then I realized if I really want to master what I do, is to go for certification. Then I decided to go for the CCIE route. I invested a lot. I spent more than 3.5 million that time. That was in 2008 to go and do my CCIE. My colleagues were laughing at me. Why should I spend money to train myself to work for a company? But for me, I was looking at it from different perspective. The company gave me an opportunity to show what I can do. So I should do it better. Then when I finished my CCIE, I got a lot of opportunities to work. But I asked myself that time, why all these companies wanted me to join them? Was because they need my CCIE number. Then I decided I can give you the number without working for you. I associated the number with one company. They were paying me 300,000 every month. I collected that money for more than 10 years without setting my foot into the office. So, and that opens a lot of opportunities for me again, because I had the skills, and that skills can help me succeed anywhere I found myself. So maybe like you went through that training. Today you started your own business. So when you speak with other people, they can understand. It's not just about you going for government training to get laptop, but for you to get skills that can help you succeed wherever you find yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 3.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Nana Sili. I think I'm a representative of the sixth stakeholder you sort of exempted, which is the creative industry. We tell the stories, the success stories that are very important. And I think it's important for us to be there on the table. But my question, I completely agree with you with your submission on the importance of building ecosystems and finding ways to bring policy to the grassroots and all of that. But one of the thoughts that was running through my mind was that initially, of course, was how to make these spaces more inclusive. So I was glad you mentioned the Igniter and the strategy around 40% and all of that. But now my thoughts tilt towards safety. Because I believe part of the mandate for NIDA is also to protect users of these innovations, protect Nigerians on the digital space, our rights to privacy and participation, etc. So what steps is NIDA taking in ensuring that women and young girls are safe when they participate in this digital space and engage in the ecosystem, since safety is usually one of the tools that is used to keep us away from the space? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You were not excluded from the stakeholders. You are part of entrepreneurs, because you can start, grow, and scale new enterprise to the world. That's the creative industry. And on your questions, one of our strategic one of our strategic pillars in our strategic roadmap and action plan is strengthening cybersecurity and enhancing digital trust. And also under the National Digital Literacy Framework, we have 6 competency areas. Safety is one of them, which we train people from the basic, intermediary, and advanced proficiency. Then in 2019, we started by issuing the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. In 2022, we sponsored a bill. The bill was signed into law in 2023, and today we have a commission on data protection and law for that, dedicated. Then also in 2022, we issued the code of practice for all platforms, including social media and internet intermediaries and so on, which also try to make sure whatever is illegal offline is also illegal online, including bullying and so on. We have the Nigerian Cybersecurity Act, which also provide the legal framework for protection online. And also, we are sponsoring a bill on the online harm protection, which will also strengthen all the existing laws to provide the legal and institutional framework for all that. But you know one thing with technology, always the law plays a catch-up because it changes always. But sometimes what we do, you don't have to come up with new law. You can stretch the existing laws to cover whatever innovation is coming up online. So we do a lot in terms of trying to make sure we have a safe cyberspace in Nigeria, as well as to protect every Nigerian online. But you know, it's a global phenomenon. Even if you look at globally, if you look at the cybersecurity crime index, Nigeria is number 5. But who are the top 4? We have China, we have Russia, we have Ukraine, we have US. So you need to look at it. Sometimes it's not just about the bad actors. Even the technology diffusion helps in accelerating the crime. Because when you have more people moving online, the criminal bad actors also move online and try to use more sophisticated tools to do whatever they want to do. But always what we are trying to do is to make sure we do a lot of awareness, training, and capacity building, because according to many researches, more than 95% of cyber breaches are as a result of human error. Therefore, our first line of defense is the human, not the technology itself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Number 4. Please, let's go straight to the question so we can allow other people to ask questions. We can either make comments or ask questions, and let's ensure we are asking a single question at a time, please. Thank you.
Doctor, I don't know why you're saying this. I don't have the mic, but I have to talk. Yeah.
It's okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Nanasili, for bringing that up. I've read your book, by the way. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Legal industry is also part of the industry that was exempted from this roundtable. And I'm so happy DG spent almost 10 minutes discussing illegalities, you know, code of practice, policies, bill to law. That is to show you how important DG knows the legal industry is to innovators, right? Innovation. So I think next time it should be very important that the legal industry is also included. I agree with DG. That industry is really playing catch up. It's really, let me not insult my profession, but we really need to be in this table, you know, to also have our say in it. It's very, very important. Okay, before I ask my question, sorry, I want to just. No, doctor, please, sorry.
Please. 30 seconds, 10 seconds, please.
Okay, all right. Okay, so DG, from your experience, right, as a leader in this ecosystem and policy maker too, how do you think the legal industry can participate in this kind of event of fostering partnerships, you know, strengthening regional policies? If you talk of policy, you talk of legal practice. So how do you think we should be included in this? Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I normally say in NIDA we have 2 departments. We have what we call regulation and compliance. It's a department. I used to say we have that department and others, because NIDA's mandate is regulation is key. We regulate, we develop, we provide advisory services. To regulate, we need legal people. So we worked with the Nigerian universities to introduce IT laws in the Nigerian system. And we've been working with the Ministry of Justice, the Court of Appeal, and so on, even to train judges and so on. But how maybe that one, I don't have the answer, but don't allow someone to eat your lunch. Because some people are saying AI will replace you. So then maybe you need to start thinking on how to use AI to enhance your work. Because today you can train an AI bot with all the Nigerian extant laws. And you can prompt it to get whatever you want in seconds. But maybe a work that you need lawyers to maybe 100 lawyers to work over 6 months, and AI can do it in 2-3 seconds for you. So maybe it's for you to not allow AI to. So maybe always try to come. You don't have to wait for anybody to invite you. When there is event like this, just walk in and be part of it.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hadiza Ibrahim. I'm the school owner and working also with Ministry of Education here in Kano. So my question, sir, is how can a private school owner access any funding or intervention? I'm talking about almost all the school owners. Yeah, we don't have access to NITDA, we don't have access to so many things for our students. So this is my question.
Our intervention is for Nigerians. We give intervention to private sector, government, and so on, but we just prioritize public institutions. But I know we supported many private sectors and organizations. Reaching NIDA is very simple. You can just write to us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ali Ibrahim Usman. I have a cybersecurity training institute here in Kano called Cyber Cadet Academy. But today I'm not talking about cybersecurity. I will talk about something else. As someone mentioned, mostly we play a catch-up game, which still we are trying to get to some stage, but there is a technology that is coming, and I can say every country now, they are racing toward that technology, which is quantum computing. And if you look at all the researches that is happening around that, so many areas of our lives will be affected by just this technology being invented.
Please, can we keep it a bit short and go straight to the question for other people to... yeah.
So what I'm trying to mention is I talk to so many people around the technology to see if any organization or any agency now is maybe looking towards how Nigeria or this region is getting into that to see how we can have our own share in the market. I want to know maybe if there is any project that is working on that, or maybe any plan for how we can get part of the changes or revolution that is coming with that technology. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We look at it as an infrastructure. So we are working on so many policies and creating enabling environment to build our digital infrastructure. Most of these, they need huge investment, not just quantum, even cloud and AI infrastructure and so on. If you look at what other countries are budgeting for, in Nigeria or Africa, we don't have that kind of resources. But what government is trying to do is to create an enabling environment for private sector to come and invest to build the infrastructure for us. So our approach is always to create an enabling environment for private sector led, but government enabled. So we've been working with all the data center providers in Nigeria, and including hyperscalers, on how we can build our cloud infrastructure, AI infrastructure, quantum, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for the discussion. My name is Abdul Basit Musa. My question is regard to media, as how Nana Salim mentioned. Media has been playing a vital role in how Southwest actually grow. And if you look at our ecosystem from the beginning, as Samino Turaki kick-started it, and how Kano wanted to do the ICT village in early 2003 during Shekaro region, and policy and lack of organization or agencies like ASIDA make it fail. And I can remember during Masari, Hashur Aminu tried to bring Cisco Academy, and we don't hear all that stories. Looking at all this trend, kind of thread happening across different states in northern Nigeria, how do you think policies, like compounded policies, can help, and how do you think we can inculcate media to make the region look in a brighter image than how it has been publicized in the bigger media? Thank you.
So I think the answer is building an ecosystem. Today, Lagos ecosystem, with or without government support, they will thrive because they have an ecosystem. And nobody will come and destroy that ecosystem. So can we build one in the northern Nigeria? Can we build the ecosystem where we can have academia, we can have innovators, risk capital, corporate organizations working together to build solutions so that we can have government, and government roles has to be clear. Government can come up with interventions in terms of policies and infrastructure. So even if the government is not ready to support, the ecosystem will thrive. So, but without the ecosystem, everything will depend on the government. So I think if we can build that ecosystem, we'll solve that problems.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Sunana Abubakar Almandis. I'm the founder of Notino Anyari. So, tambaya ta anan ita ce, I'm a living testimony of the support that NIDA have been provided for the past 2 years, 3 years regarding IHAT and all of that. So, tambaya ta shine, when it comes to accountability, like I recognize your akwai support so say da yake zuwa from national level and all of that. So I've been a person that kawai na sa raina cewa aini as a startup founder, I don't even need support from government, from subnational levels, saboda naga akwai a lot of complications around that. So daga baya kuma na fuskanta cewa for you to move forward, definitely kana bukatar wannan ecosystem players din ya zama su ma are operating. So the question is, in terms of accountability, how do you ensure accountability at the subnational level? Because for somebody else to benefit from those support given from the national level, I have no way to go and complain. I have no way to go and say, okay, why is this thing happening the way it is happening? I'm only left with the option of going to social media, maybe start saying things on social media which affect my moral values. So in terms of accountability, how do we ensure accountability? Thank you.
Okay. I think for me, my approach is always, if you can build it, don't wait for anybody to support you. But if you cannot do it yourself, get a co-founder to do it together. If not, get an angel investor network. Like last time when I attended Casida's program, I advised them if they can set up an angel investor network in Kano. Because, for example, government cannot provide support for all startups. Mostly government, they give grants or prizes, not like to invest and take an equity. And most of the time, when you get free fund, you don't value it. But if the fund comes with some terms and conditions, you utilize it better. So the only way you can get that is through the ecosystem. So if you have an ecosystem, you cannot know everything yourself. Because even in the innovator's DNA, if you look at it, there is discoverers, there are deliverers. People that they are visionaries, innovators, they'll come with ideas and they need someone that will execute that idea. Or you need someone that will help you to translate that your idea from vision to design and get a builders to build it for you. So sometimes when we think of just being a lone ranger when it comes to startups, I started my startup, 100%, I don't want anybody to join. So it will be difficult for you to scale. And even at NIDA, we don't just give free support. We give it through competition. Even through iHatch, we give the best 3 grants. So it's not like you just walk in, like on daily basis we receive emails, letters, someone needs support, but that is not feasible. We cannot do it for everyone. So at the state level also is something you can do, but the best is do it within yourself. If you are starting something, get a co-founder. You can get someone that will invest, even a friend. Sometimes you don't need big money to start building your solution. When you build it, you can open it up for family and friends to come and invest. Then you can start going to series A, B, and so on. So I think for me, that's the best approach, and that's the only way you can hold yourself and the investor accountable. But if it is a government money, whether it is a federal or state, you don't have control over it. You can only take what is given to you, and also the government also cannot come and tell you what to do after giving you that money.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Sunana Shahid Sani Abdullahi. Tambaya ta da nake so yi shine akan data. Wannan ya ta'allaka ne ga gwamnatocin jiha da watakila a gwamnatocin tarayya. A wasu lokutan zaka ga akwai kamfanoni da suke zuwa, data da ya kamata a ce gwamnati za ta iya ɗauka ta basu wurin yin research ko wani abu, sai zama na cewa daga baya gwamnati ce take iya zuwa ta ce su bata wannan data din za ta yi wasu ayyukan da sauransu, wanda nake ganin cewa kamar matsaloli daga bangaren mu. So akwai wasu dokoki ko wasu intervention da za a iya yi musamman ga su gwamnatocin jiha da na tarayya su zama na cewa suna da wannan data a hannunsu, musamman wurin ko mapping ko sanin yadda alƙalman wasu abubuwa suke. Sannan kuma da ƙarshe ina so na pleading da malam cewa akwai lokutan da ya fara daga NYSC nan da ke cewa ya samu wannan 1.3 da ya iya building solution da sauransu. So akwai wasu 'yan dabaru musamman da kai rising through the ranks daga yanzu haka kawo zuwa wannan matsayi, wataƙila akwai obstacles da yawa, sannan kuma akwai wannan difference na fahimta tsakanin manyanmu da suke ɗan gaban wurin fahimtar technology. So ya kai wurin iya convincing ɗin su cewa kaza in aka yi amfani da shi zai iya warware mana wasu matsaloli ta wasu bangarori da yawa haka. Wannan su ne 'yan tambayoyina.
Okay, on data, I think that one is a global challenge, because I could remember towards the end of Obama's tenure, he had a meeting with tech executives. They were accusing the US government for surveillance that time. Then he told them one day the gun will turn. And that is what is happening today. I don't know if you know about surveillance capitalism. Surveillance capitalism is a way where they collect data as much as they could. And when they collect that data, they go and do so many things with it. So today, these big techs, they have more data than any government in the world, even including the US government. They can only use their power to get it from them, but they have more data than anybody. So it is a big challenge. That's the reason the EU started with the GDPR, and in Nigeria we have NDPR and so on, just to make sure as you give the data you have control, or they agree on what to do with it. But beyond that, we don't know much about what they do with it. So even the GDPR and NDPR is just talking about personal data. But there is metadata they collect, behavioral and so on, which is much. And that, I think it would be very difficult for any government in the world to get more data than that. Then for me personally, I think my career success is deeply rooted in my upbringing. I was born and raised in a community called Makwala in Hadija, Jigawa State. We have many artisans. One of the core values of that community, everybody has a skill and he's good at what he does or what they do. If you are looking for best carpenter, best plumber, best whatever, electrician, tailor, and so on, you come to our place. But in my family, we have our own core values. My dad was always saying we have to be different, and whatever we are going to do, we create value. So for me, always this shaped my life and what I do. Anything I do, I make sure I do it well, it get noticed, I make sure I stand out, I make sure I create value, and I don't follow the crowd. So you need to be different. You need to think of why do you do it. And honestly, beyond this, I don't think I have anything special. I do, but always I check if I do it, will it create value? Am I following the crowd, or am I just doing it for the sake of doing it? No. Before I do things, I make sure I have justification to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
We counted 10. One pulled out, so I want to use that. I want to use that position.
No
So
problem.
finally, in just 1 minute, if say you are a 20 or 25-year-old and you're just starting in tech and you want to grow to become a unicorn, what are you going to do with everything that you know over the years? What are you going to do, and how are you going to do it different this time around? In just 1 minute, sir.
So firstly, you need to know why are you doing it. Mostly, we just start business for the sake of doing business. But if you want to really make a big impact, you need to look at solving a problem or creating a solution. If you look at most of the unicorns we have, even in Nigeria, they see a problem, they jump into it and create solution. So today you can build a unicorn in whatever you want to do if you can create solution and scale it up. And also you need to look at what can you do to solve problem, immediate problem within your locality. But you can build it with a mindset of taking it to the global market. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. So to summarize all of the conversation that we had and the questions that have been asked, 2 to 3 insights that we've gotten from all of this conversation is the fact that technology is not the only barrier, but not is also a barrier, and that we don't need to be building hubs and solutions in silos. We need to be building ecosystem with strategy, and then we need to be telling our stories. These are the 3 key insights. And at the end of the day, we've gotten a couple of commitments from the DG with regards to the fact that NIDA is running programs that are very much accessible to everyone. And we've also gotten a commitment from the DG that if you need any support, not just Tech Hub, it could be educational entities, it could be market entities, NIDA is ready to support you in as much as is within its mandate. And painting the picture of what the So the DG has given us an overall sense of direction that points toward a more deliberate, a more inclusive, and a system-oriented innovation system for us to create the future that we want for the Northern Innovation Ecosystem. So, sir, looking at these insights and also looking at the sense of direction and the commitments that you've given, what message do you have, what last message do you have for founders, innovators, hub owners, and any other stakeholder that we have present in the room here with us today?
At NIDA, we are open for partnership and collaboration. It's one of our strategic pillars. We are ready to work with any state, any ecosystem, any organization willing to build the innovation ecosystem. We can work with you to orchestrate the journey and go through it together. So I think maybe also if we can find a way of getting the state government also to be part of it. Like, for example, in the Southwest, they have what they call the Dawn Forum. It's a forum of all SSGs, secretary to the state governments, where they meet quarterly, and they invited NIDA that they want us to work with them to come up with regional policies, regional initiatives, and so on. State governments are contributing, are putting budget, and we too, we are supporting them. So if we can get all the Northwest, maybe head of IT agencies or the commissioners to come up with a forum, we can as well work with you to support you to orchestrate the journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, leaving us with the last provocation, taking the 2-3 insights that we've gotten from this conversation, and then the commitment from NIDA, and then the sense of direction that we've gotten from the DG, what if Northern Nigeria became the place where Nigeria finally learned how to make policy, not just on paper, but something that will be implemented, and not something that is being made in Abuja and then everyone will have to adopt it, but Northern Nigeria became a place where real people having policies that address their real problems, and then generation being described not at risk, but generation that are at risk if not being supported, and are turned into a generation that is most capable, creative, and productive generation that it has ever been in the past. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, could you please stay? May I invite the organizing team partners, please, for a photo session with the DG, just before he leaves the stage. Partners, organizing team, yes. Please join the DG and our moderator on stage for a photo session.
Where's Ahmed Idris? Innovate Lab. Global Shapers.
Okay, so
Where's Abdullah?
okay, so in 1, 2, 3, can you all smile for the camera?
While we're taking the picture, let me use this opportunity to ask the audience to give the team on the stage a round of applause for organizing this wonderful session, please.
Okay, thank you. Sumaya, you may stay on stage.
On that note,
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sumaya Umar Tofa, and I am a governance and strategy expert. I am also the deputy curator at Global Shapers Community here in Kano. And on behalf of the partners, Innovate Lab, Certes Global Perspective, and of course our support from Corebox, I would like to thank all partners, all stakeholders present today. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the DG as well for his time and his commitment. His reflections were really important, especially his insights on soft skills, entrepreneurial capacity, ecosystem alignment, and a host of other things. We are also particularly grateful for your emphasis on building innovation as a system to our roundtable stakeholders. Thank you so much for your insights, valuable and things that you've spent years learning about the ecosystem that we have here in northern Nigeria. And your engagement today has not only strengthened, our ability to have dialogues like this, but it has also given other partners and other ecosystem actors, including myself, a renewed sense of hope. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you. And with this, one final thing, we would have a group photo session outside, just at the end of it all. But just before we go, one last thing. DG mentioned a story earlier when he started his career. His friends, and of course also some family members, laughed at him, and seeing him now becoming DG. So I want to use this opportunity to laugh at everybody here, hoping that you all become DJs and all of that. Thank you so much. See you next time. Yeah.